Safety here. I'm back with my Kelly kettle, and I'm going to do a little video showing you how I'm going to heat up some water and warm up my dinner, and show you what you can do with a Kelly kettle, a couple bottles of water, and well-stocked emergency or preparedness kit. I'm going to go out in my backyard on my deck and show you how these items can really come in handy in a time of need. Alright, so I'm overdubbing the audio because the cars were just all over the place when I went out to do this. But you can see here I'm prepping my Kelly kettle by taking it out of the package and individually separating all the items. Put some extra things in there that didn't come with it, like that green scrubby to clean it out when it's done. And then I put some extra gloves in there to protect my hands. It's very important when you're in a state of an emergency, because you don't want to burn yourself or lacerate yourself or anything unnecessarily, because you may actually need to take care of other people. It comes with this device here. It sits right on top, and it allows you to boil water or cook something over the open flame that comes out of the top, because the Kelly kettle is a double boiler that works as a kind of, they call it a rocket stove or a volcano stove. A massive amount of heat comes right out of the top there. You see here, it comes with a couple stainless. I bought the stainless steel version because I want to be able to use it often. The stainless steel containers are really handy. You have a pot with a lid, or if you flip it over, you have a little pan there to work with. And using the tongs, you can grab onto those really easily, so they store inside the Kelly kettle when it's put away. Now you want to set the base so that the two holes are facing towards or into the wind, because the wind going in the holes will actually give you your air circulation to keep the fire going and burning at the hottest temperature it can with the fuel in there. So once you've totally unpacked your Kelly kettle, like as you see, I've stuffed my gloves in there. Since it's a double boiler, you've got a lot of room to store stuff in there, but you got to make sure you unpack everything. It also comes with a little grill or a screen that you can put on top of that rack to cook little tiny pieces of meat or something over if you really needed to. I like the Kelly kettle because when it's in a full running operating stage, it's a contained unit, so unless you really kicked it over or tried to make a fire elsewhere, it's fairly safe. And then you just have to know where not to reach and what's hot while it's cooking. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for young children, but any well-trained Boy Scout or 18-year or older should be able to understand how to use this. It's key to make sure you keep your Kelly kettle filled. Now, filling it first time, of course, but as it boils, water vapors leave, and you do lose some water, or if you need to use the hot water to boil other things, and then you have to make sure you replenish that cold water inside the tank so that it continues to boil, because this unit will stay hot until you let it actually cool down away from the embers and the flame. Once you've got the Kelly kettle full, make sure you put your gloves on and keep your hands protected. But next I'm going to show you what you should collect and how you can just start a fire really quick with the Kelly kettle and bring this water to a boil quite rapidly. So I've collected all the stuff I need. I've got my leaves, I've got my brush, and I even grabbed some twigs and some sticks. They come in handy, and you really don't need too many, but I suggest getting a good amount. Now, instead of breaking into my emergency kit and pulling out the emergency food, I'm just going to use a can of beans that's going to expire soon, so I can replenish my stockpile and keep the expired food out and fresh food in. Now you got to cut the label off first. If you don't cut the label off first, the paper can burn or just contaminate the water that you're boiling in. If in an emergency situation, you want to try and save all the water that you can. So even though you're boiling, you're going to double boil the beans on top of the fire. You may actually be able to use that boiled water as sterilized water later to clean a wound or drink or even cook again with. But once you've cleared it off, open it up. Now I have these can openers from my kitchen because it's a lot easier to do on video than using a pocket knife, but there are Swiss Army knives and stuff out there that you can use to have an emergency kit to open cans and other stuff like that. Now once you've safely removed the lid to the can and set it off to the side, you're going to want to prep your double boil setup with them. You don't want to put it directly on top of the fire. So alright, prepping the fire for the Kelly Kettle is actually very simple. All you really need to do is grab some brush and some leaves and place them in there, and then stack a few twigs on top. You want to break them into kind of a pyramid shape. It allows that little pyramid to catch on fire and really start burning. It also allows you to put the Kelly Kettle back on without knocking it over or kind of suffocating the fire. Once you get the flame going and you put that Kelly Kettle right on, the air circulation through those holes kicks right up, so you don't want to be leaning over the top of the Kelly Kettle at all. But you know, you want to set it up and have it going, and then the trick is having your fire ready. Now in this video I wasn't quite prepared. I forgot the lighter I had was on the bottom of my emergency kit. It was good I remembered where it was, but being prepared is always a necessity. So make sure you have your utensils right by you, and you also have your emergency kit stocked and prepared like you need to. It took me a couple attempts to get the fire really going. I've had my Kelly Kettle for a few months and I've used it a dozen or so times, but really it takes some experience getting used to it and understand all the little things I learn every time about cleaning it and prepping it and lighting the fires and getting everything going. I feel confident being able to get my meal going tonight, but I did have a little trouble getting it started. I think it was due to my gloves, the lack of wind actually, and the fact that I was using a little Bic lighter instead of matches or something like that. But eventually I got my fire going, and it actually started going really nicely. And once the flames started coming out the top and everything, I stepped back and I just kind of watched it burn. After letting it cook for a good amount of time, I threw that, or prime for a good amount of time, I threw that rack on there and started everything. But like I said, you don't put the can directly on there. You want to make sure you have a double boil. So you put a bucket of water on there, and of course I forgot to prep it, so I lost a little bit of heat and everything. Luckily, that double boil feature inside the Kelly Kettle itself was starting to boil my water, so I didn't really waste any heat. I just lost a little bit. You get to use a lot of this energy with the Kelly Kettle, which I really like. The lack of, or the wasting of energy is minimal if you use the Kelly Kettle correctly. So here what I did was, once I got the water boiling, I slowly replaced the water inside the top pan to keep everything at the hottest temperature it could. Once again, trying to minimize the waste of electricity, or energy. But you slowly feed more twigs and sticks in there, make sure not to suffocate the fire, but feed it just right, and make sure you rotate the base in order to catch the wind, just in case it shifts a little bit. An easy tell is the direction the smoke is going. Now quickly my Kelly Kettle came to a boil. That water was just shooting right out. You don't want the cork in there at all when it's boiling. If it's hot at all, if there's water in there, do not have the cork in there. It will pop out. Plus, stay clear of where the water can shoot out, because if it gets too hot, that water can shoot up to 3 or 4 feet easily. And as it shoots out, make sure you replace it with more water. Yet, cool water will cause more energy to be needed. So I just want to show you what it looks like in the dark. It has a really nice glow to it simply, but if you get it going really good and really hot, it actually has that volcano feature, and you'd be able to see the flames shooting 1.5 feet in the air above it. I have a pan on it, and my flame wasn't quite going all the way when I filmed this part, but you get the idea of how bright it could get at night as a little fire with you. But the Kelly Kettle is a wonderful tool, and I suggest everyone goes out and gets one. And if you do go and get one, promptly test it, use it, pack it with fuel and tools that suit your needs, and stay safe, YouTube.